Oh, hey folks, I hope you're well. Welcome to another little video, and probably well into the video by the time I do my little introduction. Apologies for that, I was just enjoying faffing around with my camera and these little local trails of mine. The topic of today's video is going to be 5 tips or 5 kind of things that I think you can do to really encourage yourself or help yourself or force yourself if you need to explore new trails and kind of new routes around the area where you live. So without further ado, I'm going to get through this gate. So many gates up here in the Pennines, and we'll get into the kind of first thing, tip, whatever you want to call it, that I think people can do to as I say, kind of explore new trails and new routes. Okay, let's get into it. Topic of this video aside, there's obviously absolutely nothing wrong with cycling the same routes or the same trails. In fact, I rather enjoy doing that, and I have a few sort of choice routes that I'll do quite regularly, and over the course of a year, or you know, as the years go by, it's really nice to kind of do the same route. Sometimes you see the landscape changing across the seasons, you note your sort of fitness levels. You can kind of compare how you perform on the same routes, and you know, of course there's no worry about route finding, you know, working out how long you're going to take, where you can dive in for, you know, some refreshments or a bite to eat or whatever, because you know the route, you've done it a few times before. So I'm not by any stretch dissing anybody who kind of sticks to routes that they know, but I think we'd all, you know, if we're being honest, we'd like to explore different places from time to time. And yeah, the first tip I've got for sort of doing that is to join a local club or like a local Facebook group or something, and even if you only go out once or twice, the chances are you're going to bump into people who are really knowledgeable about the area. You might do rides on, oh sorry, it's a slight incline, you probably can't see on the camera. You know, you might do rides around places you're not that familiar with, and if it's something like a, you know, local Facebook club, there'll be people posting all sorts of ride reports and new ideas, and you know, it's a great place to take inspiration from. And you know, as long as you give a little back as well, I think that would be a really good way of getting into some new routes. I think my second tip would be to kind of take full advantage of some of the cycling apps that you have these days, things like Strava or Komoot, or even just OS Maps or Google Maps. They're really great resources for kind of planning little routes, seeing what bits of your local area might be interesting, and trying to kind of link them up. I use Komoot, and it has a great feature where you can sort of plot a route, or you can sort of plot out waypoints that you want to visit. Can I go down this hill with one hand? We shall see. Might fall off here. And then you can just tell it, oh, I'm on a road bike, I'm on a mountain bike, I'm bike touring, hang on, I'm on a gravel bike, and it makes these sort of adjustments based on the sort of terrain that you've just told it you intend to ride. And yeah, it's a fantastic resource, and one of the nice things about Komoot, and obviously if you use like Google Maps satellite or something, or the sort of Street View if you're on a like a road cycling trip, on Komoot, people every now and again along routes have stopped and taken pictures, and you can sort of bring those up on your computer. So it's a really nice way of just checking a few features out and places out, and if they look appealing, they look of interest, you can kind of add them as waypoints, and it just kind of incorporates that into your route. So yeah, tip number 2 is really just make full use of the kind of the software and the apps available these days, because they're pretty cool. And if you have a really, you know, simple budget sort of GPS like my Wahoo Element Bolt, you can just feed it through onto that computer and it says turn left, turn right, go straight on, and you've just got your route sort of all laid out in front of you. So what a surprise, another Pennine Gates. Okay, my third tip for kind of encouraging yourself, giving yourself a little bit of impetus to try a new trail is you might find in your kind of area, or the area that you're interested in kind of exploring a little bit more, that there's 1 or 2 people on YouTube. I mean, everybody and their uncle's now got a YouTube channel, so you might be surprised at just how many sort of local YouTubers there are knocking around. Actually, the route I'm doing today, which is 90% new little, you know, bridleways and bits of single track for me, was on a YouTube channel that I follow. A shout out to Gordon at Clipping In. And a few weeks ago he took his gravel bike out to a local Roman fort that I never knew existed, and it's not that far from my neck of the woods, completely different sort of direction. But I thought today I'd go and check out Castle Shore Roman Fort. Not that I know the first thing about history or the Romans beyond Monty Python's Life of Brian, release Roderick. But yeah, I just took a little bit of inspiration from that video and thought, well, that would be a cool place to go and have a look at. And getting there, you know, as I mentioned, I think in tip 2, planning that on commute, I could see that it was on lots of new little trails and lots of new little bridleways and bits of single track that I'd never ridden in this area. So yeah, I'm actually not too far away from it. I think there's only a little bit of descent, and then we shall see what this 1,950-year-old Roman fort, or remains of, is all about. But yeah, tip 3 is, if you can, you might find there's people sort of making little YouTube cycling vlogs or blogs or whatever about your local area. So yeah, go check them out. Okay, tip 4 and tip 5, probably the other side of the Roman fort. So I think these are the Castle Shore reservoirs. There's an upper, which is that one, and then the lower one is just the other side. Don't really know what I'm looking for, to be honest. I'm hoping there'll be a sign somewhere that says, "Oi Martin, Roman fort this way, come and have a look." May have to get the phone out, let's see. Little help. That's a very weathered little sign. I don't know if you can read it. It says Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Areas Act 1979. This site is a scheduled ancient monument. It's an offence to use a metal detector on it or damage it in any way. Sorry, all you detectorists. I don't know if this is the official way onto the site, but yeah, let's just have a wee look. It's a little plateau surrounded by higher grounds, but the higher, let me me just pause my little computer. To get from the higher ground surrounding here, you have to go into dips. So yeah, I guess strategically it's not a bad place to put a fort. Let me just show you what we've got. I don't really know what I'm looking for, but there's definitely some kind of foundation here. Not here, I'm just about to go up to it. Ah, okay, this looks a bit more promising. Let's go have a look at the sign, shall we? See what's what. So that's what I suppose the powers that be think it looked like, and this is what it now looks like. I think the idea is you use your imagination a little bit. I mean, that's fair enough, it's nearly 2,000 years ago. God, what must it have felt like to be, you know, born in the Mediterranean or near the Mediterranean, join the Roman army and find yourself after a period of time out here in the middle of winter, blooming long way from home. I was sat in Bingley the other day having a cup of tea in West Yorkshire, and I thought that was quite far from home. Can you imagine? I mean, it's I can see Delft down there and little bits of civilization and roads and stuff, but it's still got a pretty remote and wild, windswept feel to it. And you're some, you know, 20-year-old Roman trying to make your way in the army or the administrative function supporting the army, standing around here thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? God knows who, up to the north, and heck of a long way to go to get home. What a place. Right, I'm going to read the blurb on the sign, have a Snickers. My tip for is a really straightforward one. It's actually just to get on your bike in your local area, give yourself a little bit of time, and actually not worry about where you're heading. I think one of the really nice things to do on a bike is to sort of vaguely pick a direction you want to travel in and go explore. I think, you know, there are places you can't really do that because it's not safe if you're sort of in an inner city or something, but I think generally you probably have a sense, even if you haven't been cycling a lot in an area, of sort of roughly what places might be a little bit more rural, a little bit more interesting. And sometimes it's nice to just jump on a bike, give yourself a bit of time and go out. You'll always have your phone with you and you can always get back onto a way back home if you need to. But I found that with a bit of patience, and you know, you'll go down some dead ends, you'll find yourself, you know, on little routes and tracks that peter out, don't really go anywhere. But I think that's all good sort of knowledge. It's like the knowledge, I suppose, that London taxi drivers have. You want to build it up for your local area. So yeah, tip number 4 is actually don't plan anything, just jump on your bike and you know, go see what's around your local area. Okay, quick Snickers and then we'll get on to the final tip, and I need to get a shimmy on because it's quite late in the day and start making my way back home. Okay. Okay, my last tip for things you can do to kind of encourage yourself, steam me up, to try a few new routes is to do a little bit of cycling on your own. And the advantage, of course, of that is, you know, there's nobody to get frustrated with you if you take a wrong turn, if a route's a bit naff. There's no pressure on you to kind of, you know, if you're route finding for other people, chances are you probably want to do tried and tested routes, things that maybe you've done before. You don't want to kind of give them a crap ride. And also, if you're following other people's route suggestions, you know, it might not always take you exactly where you really like to cycle, your kind of preferred routes. Cycling in groups, I've mentioned before, is absolutely brilliant. And I've got the one or two people that I do cycle with. They're very accommodating and very understanding about wrong turns and misdirections. But yeah, if you get the opportunity and it's kind of, you've got the confidence and there's no, you know, safety issues or anything, try a few routes, try a few outings on your own, and really get to kind of explore and try new routes and trails. So yeah, that's my last of my top 5 kind of tips and suggestions for not just going and cycling the same routes kind of day after day, week after week. Do let me know if there's other kind of tips that you've picked up, other kind of things that give you a little bit of motivation to try new routes. And as ever, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for your patience and for following along. If you would like and subscribe, that would be brilliant. I really appreciate it, and it's really helping me out. Otherwise, I need to get shimmy on because it's starting to rain, and I'm going to drop down. Where am I going now? Heading towards the Huddersfield Road, which I do know, and then I'll do a little time check. I might bomb down the road as a little bit of a shortcut back towards home, or go back over the tops over towards Pythorn. We will see. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please stay safe, take care, and happy cycling. Bye for now.